right. So my dress form disappeared. So this is not, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. I'm using this other dress form. So it's not necessarily gonna fit.
I think you had my form when you was doing this. Do you read it?
I was using yours. Which one is it? Waste time. So, actually what I like to do, I know it's like natural to pin the neck, but it's better to just go ahead and pin the apex first. So this is the sort of the center point of everything, and I know some of you don't know where your apex is. It might be hard to tell. So I can I've done this already for some of you, put a pin there and then you know exactly where your apex is. So then I can put a pin in my apex here and a pin there, and now I'm good to go. So that's the best way to start. Now I can line up my neck. And I always double pin the apex because I don't want it to move. And then I'm gonna pin here. And then I noticed some of you put this tape across here and tape, and I'm gonna ask you guys not to do that. You might have learned that somewhere, but I want you to hone your eye, and I want you to learn how to just see things by eye and not rely on little crutches and stuff like that. So it's better to just know this is 2 fingers. I'm okay, 2 fingers, and and by eye I'm good. And this is supposed to be the center of the tape, but again, I'm using a different dress form, so it's not gonna necessarily match. So we're gonna pretend, but you should definitely have your 2 fingers and your space, and you should be able to you can see that, I know I have enough space. And we're just getting our eye honed on that. And same with across for your balance, your grain line, your balance line. You just wanna use your eye and start getting used to seeing things by eye. Because when you're a pattern maker or a designer, or you become a fashion professor someday, you have to just look across the room and see it, right? So you wanna just get used to that. So up here is where you're gonna sink those pins in on the shoulder, because we want to lay our back on top. So notice I'm just doing a light tack with my pins, and I'm only sinking them in here on the shoulder. Okay. And then the side seam, I had you guys wait so that we could true it up together with the back. So that's good. I'm gonna put a couple more pins here at the waist just to hold it in place. And then this right here, I'm gonna just fold and then tack it there until I'm ready to use it. So that's how you should have your muslin on your dress form when you're done marking it. After you mark it on the table and or mark it on the dress form, true it, and then add seam allowance cut, put it back on the dress form like this, and then like this. So then we're ready to start the back. All right, so I'm still prepping my muslin. Get all the strings off. And again, I said, if you give it a good iron before you block it, the heat helps to relax the fibers, and of course this is cold now. It'll be a little easier to block. I am working on getting a guest speaker for you guys next month. He is a professional in the garment industry. He works with textiles, and he will come and talk to us about textiles. So I think that's the cool thing about the industry nowadays. What's new, what's revolutionary is textiles. Pattern making hasn't changed. Draping, it's the same. But textiles, that's where there's all this change going on. have a friend who like sourced fabric in Vietnam made out of bananas. And I guess they're very soft. The t-shirts are super soft. I know, it sounds funny.
They use the fiber from banana.
I guess. I want to. He's a surfer and he's from the industry. Like he worked for like all the big surf brands in Orange County and so he spent a lot of time in Indonesia and over there. And then I don't know. He guess he just found out about this banana thing and then yeah. I'm not sure if it's the peels that they're using.
I think it's the peels. We studied it was peels.
In the Philippines, it's pineapple.
Is it? Oh, you can make
Fabric out of pineapple.
threads,
Yeah.
fibers out of it.
Fabric,
Cool.
yeah.
I love that. Have you guys heard about mycelium and making products out of mycelium mushrooms? You can make fabric. You can make.
I think it's one designer that might be using that technique to make something out of.
Have you guys been to the Sway Sew Shop yet in the Garment District? Have you checked them out?
What?
Sway, S-U-A-Y. So check them out on Instagram. They are super cool. They have community dye baths, and you don't even have. You can mail it in, and they have different colors like each month. And they, so if you like have an old shirt or jeans or bedding or whatever, and it's gotten dingy or stained, and you can send it to them, and they'll dye it for you for a small price. And they're really cool. And they also take clothing that's like overstock from big manufacturers, and then they turn it into, like, they take bath towels and they make these really cool jackets out of them. A bath towel jacket. They're really cool. They're like a cardigan. So yeah, check out Sway. So see, you just have to tug a bit, and now it's better. And then a quick iron. And remember, so I
Draw your line.
yeah, grain line. So 1 inch grain line. This is my center back. So remember, we always work on the right side of the body. So for the center front, my grain line's here. The center back, my grain line's on this side. If you end up putting it on, this side, that's fine. Just make sure you turn it around like that. So I'm just eyeballing the 1 inch, and I'm sticking the pin in the fabric and dragging my hand down, and I'm keeping the pin on the table. And then this hand moves. So as I drag the pin, I'm moving my hand down and pulling like that. So it helps to keep, so I started to go off a little bit because I was going too fast. So I just moved back up, and I'm gonna slow down, and now I've corrected myself. So going slow and steady, and just dragging that pin and moving your finger like this, you can get that nice 1 inch grain line. And then you're gonna draw it in with the ruler. So there is my center back. Okay, so now I need, just like on the front, we marked the neck and we did the 5 inches or 5.5 down. So in the back, we're gonna do 5 inches again. You don't have to go down as far in the back because there's not as much space that you need here, but we're gonna go down 5 just to make sure we have enough. Actually, I'm gonna have you guys do 4.5, okay? Let's do 4.5. So that's my neck. And then the next measurement you need to get from your dress form. So I noticed today, some of the dress forms don't have the shoulder balance line indicated. There should be a pin like this right here. I added this pin to mine. Some of you are lucky and you have it. So you'll measure from your neck to that, and that's your next line. So on mine, it's like 4. If you do not have it, then I want you guys to call me over. We're probably gonna just make it 4, but we'll look at the dress form. It's pretty much, this point should be like the actual highest pitch of your shoulder. So like there's like a pitch here, right? Where it's the highest point on your shoulder. That's where it should be. You guys see that? And then we're gonna square a line across. So you do need the L square when you're draping. You need it in the front for your line that you square across here on the bust level, and then you need it on the back for the shoulder. And when you square this line, I noticed some of you on your front, you were only like drawing to like here and you stop. Draw it all the way across. Just draw it all the way across, so that when you're on the dress form, you're not like, oh, my line, it's not far enough, right? So just draw it all the way across. And then the next line that we're gonna look for is again on the dress form. So now I'm gonna measure from this balance line, horizontal balance line, straight across to the ridge. Remember, the ridge is this sort of cliff, and that on mine it's like 7, and then you're gonna add an 1/8. So 7 and an 1/8 for me. I'm gonna mark that on here. And then I'm gonna measure from that line back 1.25 inches. And I'm gonna mark that, just like this. And then I'm gonna drag a grain line down from there, okay? So I put in my pin, and I start right here, and I'm dragging another grain line. This will end up being the center of my dart, that princess line dart there on the waist. And so I want this to be a nice, true grain line that's dragged. Okay. And then draw it in. So I'm gonna double check to make sure that I was on grain. So for me, it's like 6. Am I all the way down? Yeah. Just making sure I didn't end up going way off at some point. So, and draw it all the way down like that. Okay, so that's the prep for the back. Then we're gonna fold this on the center back green, and I like to put in a couple pins. I do a finger press. Don't iron it. You don't need to iron it, and ironing it just forces the fibers off grain a little bit. It's just a simple finger press. I put in these placeholder pins. They just hold it back until I get the muslin pinned up. So, finger press. So you guys got that? This measurement plus 1/8, and then you measure back 1.25 inches. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and pin my horizontal shoulder balance line right here, and I'm gonna pin my neck. And then I'm gonna go ahead and balance out this line. Can you guys all see?
Not from here.
So I'm gonna take this pin out and put in a stabilizer pin right here. So this line needs to be parallel to the floor as much as possible. And then this guy I'm gonna pin to the ridge. So remember, I added 1/8. So there's a little bit of 1/8 inch of ease that I have to distribute across this line. So I'm gonna make this parallel and line, my shoulder ridge horizontal balance line in, and I'm gonna double pin it so it doesn't move. And then now I'm gonna take this little puff of ease and pin in place all my ease. Just distributing it, like that's probably too much right there. I just want a little bit right here, a little more over here, and a little more here, and just get all of that ease distributed on this line. And again, this is so that we can move our shoulders in our clothes. These are woven garments and they're fitted to the body, so we want to make sure that there's a little bit of ease to move. So there, so I've got it fairly well distributed, okay? And now I'm going to finish pinning along the center back. All the way down. I'm running out of pins. Okay. So I'm going to take care of my side seam, and then I'm going to come over and do the dart. So this, I'm going to smooth down my grain line like this, straight down a couple of inches, and slide over to my armhole side seam and pin. And then I'm going to grab my front and start pinning the front to the back. So I just want to be on my side seam. So my side seam's right here, and I'm going to match up the front to the back and pin together all the way down. So I'm looking and I'm matching the front to the back. I'm probably going to do like 4 or 5 pins. And this guy is going to stay parallel like that to the center back. Now the pins. So I'm going to put him, I don't want him to start moving, so I'm going to just put a little pin there so he stays in place while I do this. And finish. And I can feel the side seam with my fingers because it's so nice and thick. So it's not too hard to do that. And I'm going to cut away some of this right here because it's heavy and it's pulling. I'm going to leave enough for my seam allowance, but I don't need to have all that hanging. It pulls on the rest of the drape. So the side seam is looking like that. So now I'm going to give myself a little pinch of ease here at the waist. We always want to give ourselves a little 1/8 of an inch pinch of ease, or it's a 1/4 because it's an 1/8 on each side. And I'm going to pin the waist. Don't forget to pin the waist down. And now this is going to be my dart. So yeah, so now I'm going to grab my dart, and it should be over the princess line. Just eyeball it.
Can the dart be at an angle?
It can be at an angle. I mean, it's gonna go where it's gonna go. Okay. And I'm gonna finish pinning along the waist. And I'm gonna find my vanishing point. So the vanishing point of the dart, this is important. It can't be higher than my armhole here. So I need to be conscious of that. So this is my armhole. So it, you know, it looks like it's vanishing up here, but I can't have it higher than that. So I'm gonna have to just end my vanishing point like right here. Okay, because that's a rule I don't want to break. So some of you are gonna have your vanishing point below that, and it's not even gonna be an issue. So, but for me it is, so I'm gonna just make sure that I'm keeping it lower. So it looks like that. So now I can work on the neck. I'm gonna come up to the top. And I'm gonna immediately cut some of this out right here. Just like I'm cutting out an inch, coming down 1.5 inches and making a square, cut up. And just like we did in the front, start pinning along the neck and cutting. So I'm feeling that neckline. And I'm gonna have to slice straight down. This way. Smooth right along. And then I can see where my front shoulder is, so I want to trace that line. I'm going to continue that line. These can come away. I only need a 1/4 inch seam allowance on the neck, so as long as you don't cut deeper than that, you should be all right. Just a little more. So nice and smooth. And I'm going to double pin here at the neck and shoulder. And then I'm going to direct my attention over here to the ridge in the shoulder, and I'm going to smooth this up. So this right here, there's a little bit that needs to be smoothed up. So it was kind of like this, right? So I need to bring that up because that's going to be a dart, a shoulder dart. So this is kind of smoothed over and up, and then I'm going to put a pin here. For my shoulder ridges, and another pin over here. And what's excess is going to be my dart. It shouldn't be more than a 1/4 inch on each side, or actually a 1/4 inch total. It should be pretty small. So if it's bigger, let me know. And it should be on the princess line. So we need to be looking for that princess line here. So there's my dart. And we're pinning it the same way. We pin right on that seam line, and we put the pin all the way through the muslin and picking up the dart like that. And then just keep pinning on your shoulder. Make sure there's pins about every 1/2 inch along the shoulder, nice and smooth, right on that line. And then again, we're gonna mark our vanishing point. So this is a little bubbly here, so I can work on that a little better, and snip into my neck. I want to get this kind of released and repin and smooth that out a little better. So it looks like my vanishing point's right about here. And there's my dart. And I pin my sign seam. So I'm all good now with all the pins. And now it's time to mark. So I'm going to start up here at my neck and draw that, slash a line out, and then start dotting, just like we did in the front. A lot of it's very similar. And again, I'm doing a cross hatch at the shoulder, and then I'm marking my shoulder with the little dots. And remember how we mark the pins. Right, so I'm just rubbing the pin and twisting along. I'm tracing the front line, and I'm going to mark the ridge here. And then on the back, again, I'm marking my screw at the plate. So it's right here. So it's like right about there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and mark my side seam under the plate. I like to have this just to have it. I know we're gonna use the front, but I like to know where it is. So, and then I don't need to do any other markings because we're gonna use the front as our guide. I think I'll put another pin in. Now I'm gonna mark the waist, and we're using the center of the tape. And I'm dotting. Pins should be at the center of the tape, and they're not. Dotting the center, marking my dart. Oops. There, or not, that's my, sorry. I made a mistake. That's the E's. You don't need to mark the E's, guys. I'm still a little slow recovering from my illness. Mark your dart, don't mark your E's. Okay, and pencil the center of the tape and mark the waist. So, and then what do we mark?
Vanishing point.
Hope I'm not putting you all to sleep. Vanishing point. Okay. So there she is. I think that's good enough for now. I'm gonna have you guys go execute. Okay.
When it comes to the armhole, do you